guys, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tiffany.
And we are
Sisters of the South.
We are coming to you today to bring you another true crime story in our SOS studio. We'd like to ask that you hit the like button, also hit the subscribe button, and then venture on over there and hit that bell button. So every time we upload a new video, you'll get notification that we've done so. Also, we'd like to give a big shout out to our favorite vendor and friends over at SoFly. SoFly.
Not so small.
Not no more.
Yeah.
SoFly is a family-owned business here in the Houston, Texas area, and what they do is specialize in embroidery and also in lasering. So what they'll do is take an accessory such as a cup, maybe a tumbler, a hoodie, a cap, a jacket, even a purse, and they will engrave it or embroidery your logo or any design that you like. They have an array of different colors, also an array of different designs, and they'll help you get the perfect thing for that special occasion. So in the meantime, we know that you'll be happy, but we would like to show you a video of just how great they are. So here we go. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. In the meantime, I'm going to turn it over to Tiff so she can get started on this story. So here we go.
Okay. Jonelle Vieira was born on February 9th, 1972 to 13-year-old Terry Vieira at Cottage Hospital in Santa Barbara, California. In March 1972, at 6 weeks old, Jonelle was given up for adoption and was adopted by James, or Jim, and Gloria Matthews, changing her name to Jonelle Renee Matthews. The Matthews already had a 3-year-old daughter named Jennifer, giving Jonelle an older sister. 6 years later, the Matthews family moved from California to Greeley, Colorado, about 50 miles north of Denver. So a little about Jonelle. Her dad said she was always the life of the party and you always knew when she was in the room.
Aww.
Her mom said she was strong in everything. Even as a child, Jonelle knew what she wanted and she would let you know.
Sounds kind of familiar.
Like you?
Yes. Yes.
Well, and looking at her pictures reminded me of you. Time.
And listen, she was born in February of 73 and I'm sorry, 72 and I was born in February 73. So she's an Aquarian. So we have some things in common.
Oh, I thought about that all through this story. Even pictures of her and her sister. I was like, oh God, we have those
Yes.
pictures.
It's kind of strange.
So on the evening of Thursday, December 20th, 1984, Jim and Jonelle had dinner at McDonald's before he dropped her off at the Intra-West Bank of Denver downtown, where she was performing in a Christmas concert with the Greeley's Franklin Middle School Choir that was going to be broadcast live on the city's cable vision network. Jonelle's family wasn't there with her. Jim was at her sister's basketball game, and her mother, Gloria, was in California to be with her family for Christmas. Jonelle got a ride home with her friend Deanna and Deanna's father, Russell Ross, and arrived at her home in Greeley at 8:15 p.m. Russell waited in the driveway until he saw Jonelle flicker the lights before he left, and that was her sign to let him know she was in the house safely.
Okay.
He noticed that the garage door was partially open, but that wasn't uncommon. People left their garage doors open.
Right.
Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Jim arrived home at 9:30 p.m. He went inside and found Jonelle's shoes and shawl were near the heater in the family room, a place where she would often sit, and the TV was on. So he called out for her, but he got no answer. With snow on the ground, Jim thought it was unlikely Jonelle would go far with no shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Jim looked around and saw that Jonelle had taken a phone call for him and left the message on the blackboard in the kitchen, but there was no other note about where she might have gone. When Jonelle's sister, Jennifer, arrived home around 10 p.m. and had not seen her, Jim began to worry. So he called Russell Ross, who Jonelle had gotten the ride home with, who said Jonelle wasn't with them. Russell then woke up his daughter Deanna to ask if she knew where Jonelle might be, and she didn't. Feeling that something was really wrong, Jim called the Greeley Police Department and reported his daughter missing.
Good job, Dad. Good job.
The police arrived by 10:15 p.m., which is very fast.
Mm-hmm.
There were no signs of a struggle or forced entry. The police found footprints in the snow around the house, indicating that someone had been walking around the house, possibly looking in the windows.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed that the person that made the footprints had taken a rake from the partially open garage and used it to rake over their footprints as they walked, as an attempt to conceal them.
Oh, wow.
But the police never told anyone about this discovery, hoping it would help them find out who had done it later on.
Absolutely.
Which was great.
Yes.
This was literally the only evidence the police could find. Jonelle was missing, and they had nothing to go on and no idea on where to start. Jim was the first suspect for obvious reasons. The police always start with the family.
Right.
Gloria was out of town, so she wasn't a suspect.
Right.
After Jim was cleared, there were no other leads. A search of about 600 volunteers was conducted on February 9th, 1985, which was Jonelle's 13th birthday, but they found nothing. Jonelle's parents had some hope. Just 6 months prior to Jonelle's disappearance, the Center for Missing and Exploited Children had been established by Congress, and the Matthews felt they might be a success story along with the other ones they had heard about.
They still had that hope.
Have to hold on to something, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Matthews kept Jonelle's room exactly the same as she'd left it. Gloria set a place for Jonelle at the dinner table at Christmas, and they left her unwrapped gifts under the tree.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. And it was said that she wanted a Cabbage Patch doll for Christmas that year.
Yeah, that
and
was the big thing.
they left it under the tree.
Oh,
it
my
was under the tree.
gosh.
And I thought about that
Yeah.
too, because,
Mm-hmm.
I was a little girl. I wanted a Cabbage Patch doll. Actually, I may have gotten my Cabbage Patch doll that year.
Yeah.
Jonelle's disappearance attracted attention from the public. On March 7th, 1985, President at the time, Ronald Reagan, mentioned Jonelle in a speech about missing children. Jonelle was also one of the first milk carton kids, showing a picture of Jonelle and the date of her disappearance. And for those of you who don't know, missing children's faces went on the milk cartons with their information. So anyone who grabbed a carton of milk could see who was missing. And I think that's great.
Yes.
We don't do that anymore, but
No.
I think it's wonderful. It goes out. Everyone's going to see it.
Yes.
There were posters put up all around town with her picture on them offering an award, but Jonelle's case went cold. By the summer of 1985, the chances of Jonelle coming home were low. The family took Jonelle's posters off the wall and turned her room into a guest room.
Aww.
They wanted to make Jennifer's life as normal as possible.
Yeah.
So on July 19th, 2019, after almost 35 years after Jonelle's disappearance, a bulldozer operator dug up a set of skeletonized remains while digging for a pipeline in a rural area about 15 miles from where Jonelle had lived. The remains still had a perfectly preserved set of teeth covered in braces, just like Jonelle had. There were also scraps of red and blue fabric found with the remains. The night of her disappearance, Jonelle was wearing a red blouse, a gray skirt, and a navy blue sweater vest. Based on DNA records, the Weld County Coroner's Office positively identified the remains as being those of 12-year-old Jonelle Renee Matthews. The forensic report listed Jonelle's cause of death as a gunshot wound to the head.
Oh, that is so devastating.
Okay, so this is where it gets so crazy. It's really hard to piece together, so bear with me.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot. So, we finally have a suspect, and we're going to go into this, how it came about. We're going to talk about Stephen Dana Pinky. He was born in Ventura, California in 1951 to his parents Dana and Ruth Pinky. On January 14th, 1975, he enlisted in the U.S. Army in Denver, Colorado, and was discharged exactly a year later in 1976 in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Panky suggests that his discharge may have been related to homosexual activity, later telling KTVP that he left the gay lifestyle and repented for that. Whatever that means.
What? Okay.
After being discharged from the Army, Panky found employment as a security guard at the Northern Colorado Detective Agency in Greeley. 2 teenage students told police Panky maced them at the tunnel after they refused to show him their hands. Panky claimed it was self-defense. They're kids.
What?
In November 1976, a trailer park owner filed action against Panky for debts and reported that Panky was calling him repeatedly and either saying nothing or making threats, including, "Before you get me in court, I'll take care of you."
He sounds like a real winner.
By December 1976, which obviously was a crazy year for this guy,
Mm-hmm.
Panky was working as a car salesman, and he claims he became a youth pastor in 1977 at Sunny View Church of the Nazarene in Greeley, which is a claim the church disputed.
Okay.
They later say he was a janitor, but he's claiming to be a youth minister. There's a big
What?
difference, but okay.
That's a huge, huge difference.
Panky also claims he started dating a woman at the church. His story is that he got this woman pregnant and she had an abortion. Panky told the woman he was going to tell the church about it. The woman accused Panky of raping her on September 24th, 1977, filing a report 2 days later, according to court records. The woman had the case dropped in 1977 after Panky filed a lawsuit against her, which is really sad to me, but it was a different time. It was hard for women to go against a man saying he raped her.
Very true.
Who knows what he even said to her to
And
get her to drop the case.
no one believed you
Yeah.
back then. You did something wrong to cause it.
It's still hard to this day.
Yeah,
really,
it is.
but
That's horrible.
especially back then.
Yeah.
After the charges, Panky claims to have left the church, but records show he remained a member. Sometime in 1978, Stephen Panky married Angela Hicks. In December 1978, Panky was employed by 7-Up Bottling Company for delivery and repairs. Panky accused then Greeley police officer, which is now the mayor of Greeley, John Gates, of trying to get Panky fired from 7-Up in 1979 when Panky's wife was pregnant with their first child. Panky said Gates told management that Panky had a homosexual history and that he'd been accused of date.
Mm-hmm.
Panky then joined the union and was accused of organizing to get others to join. He accused area manager, later sales manager, Russell Ross, of retaliating by cutting Panky's routes and mistreating him. Now, if you remember, Russell Ross is Jonelle's friend's dad who dropped her off the night of the disappearance.
Yes.
Panky filed a lawsuit with the National Labor Relations Board in June 1980. In 1982, Panky was cited after a verbal disagreement with 2 people at the front doors of a Kmart and was ordered to pay Kmart a $15 restitution. Wow.
I'm still shocked by Kmart's $15 restitution fee.
Restitution. I had to double check that it was $15.
I mean, bring that back.
Yeah. Well, bring Kmart back. We
bring
don't even have Kmart
back. The blue light special.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
2 years later, Panky exchanged several harassment complaints with family members due to a dispute over the ownership of Panky's home. For a year now, Stephen Panky has been harassing me, Panky's aunt wrote in a report. He is my nephew and gained control on some property I released. He wanted the tenants of this property removed at the time and became unhappy they were not immediately removed. Since then, Stephen has followed me to the bank, to the post office, etc. One day I received 58 phone calls from him.
Oh my gosh, this guy's got a problem, man.
A lot of problems.
Yeah.
So altogether, this Stephen Panky has been charged with 20 misdemeanors and 1 felony.
Wow.
So this guy,
yeah,
I mean,
Man, he's a troubled soul.
He is. So now we get to 1984. At the time, Pinky was 33 years old and living with his wife and 5-year-old son in Greeley, Colorado, about 2 miles from where Jonelle lived with her family. The day before Jonelle's Christmas concert, financial issues appeared to cause a problem for Stephen Pinky. He was arrested on Wednesday, December 19th, 1984, at Norabel Credit Union on suspicion of harassment and trespassing. Pinky refused to leave unless he got his money, but the teller would not release it for financial reasons. The manager asked Pinky if he was going to pay $1,200 in back payments owed to the bank. Pinky was repeatedly warned to leave the teller alone, but he continued to approach until he was arrested.
Oh, crap. This guy.
Now, Pinky says the night of December 20th, he was home with his family and they all went to bed early after packing up their car so they could leave early the next morning to visit family in Big Bear Lake, California for Christmas. Pinky said that before he went to bed, he peeked out of the window to see how much snow was on the ground and saw an unmarked police car in his driveway. He said the car's lights flashed at his house and at his neighbor's house and then turned around and drove away. Pinky claims police are always harassing him for having a gay background.
Oh my gosh.
What is this with this guy?
This guy is like a homophobe. Is that what they call him?
About himself, apparently.
Himself. Like what? People don't walk around thinking about that.
Literally no one.
But this guy does. Like, dude, get over it.
Gay background?
What in the world?
So, he thought nothing more about it and he went to bed. I mean, these people have been harassing him for years.
He's just going to go back to bed.
He's just going to go to bed. The next morning, his family left between 3 and 4 a.m. His wife and son slept on the way, so he didn't have the radio on. He said they returned home late on December 26th, unpacked, and went straight to bed. He claims he knew nothing about Jonelle's disappearance until he returned home. Pinky said on December 27th, his father-in-law, who was the groundskeeper for the cemetery and who he was not on speaking terms with, came to him saying that a cop had come to him saying he had a body that needed to be buried and it would not look good for Steve.
Okay.
Pinky asked his father-in-law if he was wearing a wire for law enforcement. Why?
That's odd.
Very odd. He said his father-in-law said nothing and walked away. Pinky claims he immediately called his attorney, but he was out of town. He then went into his yard and started digging around to see if the person driving the unmarked cop car from December 19th had buried anything on his property, but he found nothing.
What?
Paranoid already?
But what would the cop bury?
Well, they're after him because he's got a gay background.
I mean, wow.
Why do these cops care who he's sleeping with?
And they could care less. Oh my God.
He knew Jonelle was the only missing person in the area and that he had a bad standing with the Greeley Police Department. So then he calls the FBI to tell them he may have information regarding Jonelle Matthews and all about his weird conversation with his father-in-law.
Oh my gosh.
And said he didn't want to be charged with obstruction of justice. 2 years after Jonelle's disappearance, Stephen Pinky and his family moved away from Greeley, Colorado. Pinky just couldn't stop thinking about Jonelle, so he called his old neighbor to see if they'd ever solved the case.
What?
Which is very strange.
I would, listen, wash my hands at this point. What in the world? He can't let it go.
No.
He's obsessive compulsive. Is that what they call it? Oh my God.
In 2001, Angela Pinky filed for divorce from her husband. Stephen Pinky then ran for governor of Idaho in 2014 and 2018, losing both races.
Well, praise Jesus that he lost. But I've just got to go back to this.
Yeah.
It took his wife a long time to file for divorce. I mean, probably that woman deserves a trophy.
And I'm going to say this. If your husband can't let go of a missing girl, years later
There's something wrong.
that he didn't know, it's not like he knew her,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Then wouldn't you be like, dude, what's going on with him?
Yeah.
I mean,
Something's
that's got to bring up some red flags.
Yes, for sure.
On September 4th, 2019, police in Twin Falls, Idaho searched Pinky's condo under a warrant that stated investigators had probable cause to believe that Pinky abducted and murdered Jonelle. Greeley Police Commander Roy Smith stated that Pinky had made repeated efforts to speak with detectives about the Matthews case and refused to answer questions when detectives traveled to Twin Falls on August 15, 2019. Pinky knew he was a person of interest in September 2019 when he was interviewed by the Idaho Statesman. Now, police didn't tell anyone that. He told them that.
Oh, wow.
So let's just put ourselves out there even more.
Oh, wow.
Pinky told the newspaper that he did not know Jonelle or her family and had only heard about them following the disappearance. On September 13th, 2019, the Greeley Police Department announced that Stephen Dana Pinky was a person of interest in Jonelle Matthews' abduction and death.
Well, he kind of told him to put him there.
Exactly.
He asked for it.
For years.
Yeah.
On October 13th, 2020, Pinky was indicted on charges of first-degree murder and kidnapping in Jonelle Matthews' death. He was held without bail at the Ada County Jail in Boise, Idaho, until he was extradited to Colorado. Pinky was 69 years old at the time of his indictment. The indictment lists a number of incriminating statements Pinky has made in the years since Jonelle's disappearance, demonstrating familiarity with Jonelle's neighborhood in an interview in March 1985 when Pinky stated 2 police officers lived in the same block as Jonelle. How would he know?
Yeah. Because he didn't know her.
Exactly. Discussing a crucial piece of evidence previously withheld from the public, that a rake was used to hide shoe impressions in the snow.
Right.
No one else knew that. Arguing if the Idaho Supreme Court ruled in a certain fashion, it is reasonable for the appellant to believe he would get the death penalty for revealing the location of Jonelle's body.
Okay.
In a 1999 pleading.
Oh, wow.
Writing, without a deal, this case would never be solved. Really?
This guy needs to shut up.
Oh, I think he just loves the sound of his voice. He can't shut up.
Sounds like it.
Repeatedly demanding immunity in exchange for information he claimed to have about Jonelle's murder. Well, how do you have information? You weren't in town. You didn't know the girl. You didn't even know about her until you came back into town.
This guy knows everybody's business, okay?
Well, and everyone knows his.
Yep.
And they hate him for it. Asserting in an April 2003 pleading, the family should be informed that Jonelle died before crossing 10th Street and not to give the family hope.
Wow.
In an August 15, 2013 letter, he stated, about a week after the fact, I realized a blanket or comforter or quilt also disappeared from the Matthews house.
What?
So, the indictment also notes a couple of things Angela Hicks, Stephen's ex-wife, reported. During an early 1985 church service, Pinky began muttering, false prophet, when the minister announced Jonelle would be found safe and returned home.
Oh my gosh, this guy. What? Okay.
In 1999, Pinky told Hicks, you don't think I could have hurt her, do you? She looked just like you.
Oh, wow.
In 2008, at Pinky's murdered son's funeral, Pinky said, I hope God didn't allow this to happen because of Jonelle Matthews.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So Pinky's son was murdered by his girlfriend on July 4th, 2008. This was heard by his wife and her sister as Pinky approached his son's urn and kissed it.
Oh my gosh.
So if that doesn't send up red flags, I don't know what does.
Absolutely.
Pinky's trial began October 14th, 2021. Angela Hicks Pinky testified about her relationship with her ex-husband, as well as their lives together and their home in Greeley, Colorado. Angela shared that Pinky would not allow her to spend money without getting his permission first, prohibited her from seeing her father, would not let her drive her car, and even gave her a time limit if she would go to the grocery store. Angela said it was not unusual for her husband to leave for the day in the morning and not return until any time between 4 and 11 p.m., which is why she couldn't recall what time he came home and what he was doing on December 20th, 1984, the day Jonelle went missing. But Pinky came home late in the afternoon on December 21st, 1984, announcing they would go visit family for Christmas in California, a trip Pinky had previously decided against taking.
Okay.
The family took off in the early morning hours of December 22nd, causing Angela to pack in a rush and Pinky to dump the dogs. She never saw her dogs again.
Oh my gosh.
So now he's claiming, oh, we had it planned. We left.
Yeah.
Cars were packed early. We took off. She's claiming he didn't even know what to do with the dogs. So he went and dumped them somewhere and she never saw them again.
That is insane. This guy, yeah, he wasn't working with a full deck. And he was
Absolutely
in
not.
panic mode at
Yes.
this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they arrived, Pinky's mother seemed surprised, apparently not knowing they were going to be there. 2 days later, the family traveled back home on Christmas morning. Angela noted they sat in silence for the whole ride there and back, but about halfway home to Greeley, Pinky asked for her to find a radio station. He stopped her on news coverage about a 12-year-old who had gone missing from her Greeley home. This was shocking to Angela because Pinky had previously banned all kinds of media, including TV, newspapers, and radio.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
When back in Greeley, instead of returning home right away, Pinky continued driving past their residence to a Safeway. He requested Angela grab copies of the Greeley Tribune and the Denver Post, she said. Angela recalled he proceeded to make her read every article pertaining to Jonelle in the parking lot.
That's weird. I
Red
would immediately go, this man that I'm married to, he's not right.
And you have to wonder if she was a little fearful for her life
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Is the reason, because she obviously noticed these things were odd.
Yes.
So once home, Pinky changed into coveralls and galoshes and said there were issues with the septic tank. He began digging in the front yard, which Angela didn't question. In her testimony, she said their septic tank had just been replaced earlier that year and she didn't notice any issues.
And how would he know? He just got home.
Exactly. Also, within a week of returning home, Angela went outside to check the area after she smelled smoke, only to find Pinky holding a shovel next to a burning car in the far back end of their property. When asked if she knew the make, model, and color of the car, Angela said she didn't know any of those things. She was also unaware of the functions of the car, including if it was drivable.
Right.
However, she told the court it was the only car to ever catch fire on their property. Ultimately ending in mistrial on November 4th, 2021, due to a hung jury.
Wow.
The jury voted to convict Pinky on a single misdemeanor count of making false statements to police, but was unable to come to a unanimous verdict on the kidnapping and murder charges. The prosecution argued that Pinky's behavior and statements incriminated him in the murder, but Pinky's defense argued that his obsessive interest in the case could be attributed to Asperger's syndrome.
Oh, come on.
Which technically there is no evidence to put him there.
Yeah.
He's just placed himself in
the vicinity
for
of
years.
of the murder.
Yeah, for years. Upon retrial, Stephen Pinky was found guilty of the kidnapping and murder of Jonelle Matthews by a Weld County jury on October 31st, 2022. He received a sentence of 20 years to life in prison. His earliest release date is in 2040, at which point he will be 89 years old. As of today, Pinky is serving his sentence at the Arkansas Valley Correctional Facility in Ordway, Colorado. So, Jonelle's older sister, Jennifer, said her family experienced some closure when they learned that her sister was murdered. She further stated that she considers Pinky's arrest another gift to their family, and they are especially excited to see justice. Jennifer said that while there had been sibling rivalry between her and her younger sister in 1984, the disappearance and murder eliminated the possibility of the two siblings to grow closer. Years after Jonelle's disappearance, her parents moved to the Philippines as missionaries, later relocating to Costa Rica after retirement. Jonelle Matthews was laid to rest in 2019 on remote land east of Greeley, Colorado.
Oh, wow. What a story. At least they got justice.
Yeah.
For her.
And thank God. I mean, honestly, they could have not done a retrial because there was technically no evidence. But I mean, he put himself there all through the years. He's placing himself there.
Absolutely.
He claims to not have known them, but I think he, that was the same church that they went to that he claims that he had gone to. There were people that he knew that knew them. I think he knew of them. I'm not sure why he
hyper-focused on them.
On her.
For sure.
And he had to have been watching to know she was there by herself, and it was only for an hour. So he really had to be watching.
Yes, absolutely. And it sounds like that he lured her
outside,
somehow, or knocked on the door, or
and
maybe
in
he was in the
1984,
house.
we weren't taught all of that. Stranger danger, don't open the door.
Yeah.
We just did it.
Or he might have slipped into the house, with the garage door being cracked open, and he was waiting on her and took her out the back door or something.
Well, there was just nothing. It wasn't disturbed. It didn't look like anything happened in the house. Mm-hmm. So you have to wonder if he lured her outside.
Yeah.
Put her in the car that he burned.
Absolutely.
Covered his footprints, which is so creepy.
Yep. That is horrible.
So, yeah, this was a hard story, but I'm glad her family got justice. I'm glad they found her. I know it took 35 years, but I'm glad they found her body so they could put her to rest.
Yes. Yeah. And had a proper burial, so to speak. So, yeah, absolutely.
35 years without knowing is a long time. I mean, that's a lifetime.
Yeah, it truly is a lifetime.
So,
well, bless their hearts.
Yeah.
We'll be praying for peace for that family, because they'll carry that to their last breath. For sure.
So, yeah, guys, let us know what you think. Do you think they found the right guy? I think he did it.
I do too. Absolutely.
I think they found the right guy.
No questions asked. I think so.
So, yeah, guys, let us know what you think. But until our next episode, please remember to
see the good and stay imperfectly perfect.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.